Let's go. Let the room fill up. Nation. My name is Law Nation, L-A-W Nation. We're going to talk about what is needed as it relates to the Cowboys organization, as it relates to everything that goes on from A to Z. We're going to talk about the players' rankings. That's a hot topic right now. A lot of times people use this player ranking situation to put out news, to put out talk tracks, to put out information as it relates to their independent opinions. And remember this, everyone, just remember this. Those convinced against their will is of the same opinion still. Let me repeat, those convinced against their will is of the same opinion still. So roughly, when we talk about the Dallas Cowboys in the confines of who's the number one team or who's the number one wide receiver or who's the best running back, it's always good to curate some type of, I guess, not mischief, but more so like this, some type of banter of going back and forth. Maybe you'll put out there crazy stuff like Ezekiel Elliott ranked number 11. Amari Cooper, he's ranked number 10. And everybody who knows the game, who can identify with football, can see with their natural eyes that no way that Odell Beckham is above as it relates to ranking of an Amari Cooper. And when you start hitting them with facts and say, well, from a production aspect of it, there's no way really you can really say that Amari Cooper is that far away from DeAndre Hopkins. But when you look at the production value, you will see that Amari Cooper, even with a bum foot, right, production level was better than DeAndre Hopkins, right? But he's respected in a sense because he don't play for the Dallas Cowboys. I can only imagine if he played for the Cowboys, they would find flaws in his game. But shout out to D-Hop. I think that he's one of the better wide receivers in this league. But you will see the Julio Jones ranked over Michael Thomas, that type of stuff. And that's just how it goes, Cowboy Nation. Regardless of how we look at it, that's just how it is. And shout out to those that's watching, man. Bruce Ward, John Crank, I really appreciate you. Thank everybody for tuning in, and as well as on the Facebook panel and the YouTube. Really appreciate you all, Chris Blunt, Lord Nova. Really appreciate everybody. He got franchise tag. Who is this? Chris Blunt. Let me know who got franchise tag. That contract is not needed. This is for Chris Blunt. You're talking about Dak Prescott. Well, we can go into that too. The phone number is 515-604-9318 is the phone number to call in. We're going to go over several things as relates to this, the contracts and things like that, and it's going to be more so. You guys can give me what your thoughts are, and you guys give me what you guys are feeling as it relates to this altogether. My thing is. Yeah, so my thing is this right here. When we talk about the Dallas Cowboys, when we think about what's going on with the Dallas Cowboys, we really think about, man, what happened last year, what happened the years before. But when I talk about the Dallas Cowboys, I'm looking at the future part of it, meaning that how we can better our best, what we did to move on from the Jason Garrett administration. That's what I'm talking about. And let me read some more of your comments, man. I really appreciate those. He said, who put Odell Beckham ahead of Amari Cooper? Just ESPN. Just ESPN. I just write Charlie Bridges. Yes, appreciate you for tuning in. Shout out to Sports Expert 101. Law, I'm getting a little worried about Dak Prescott deal. You still think he's going to get it done, bro? This is Darren Dunn. Here's the thing, Darren. Remember what I said. Contracts, with these contracts, the way Jerry Jones operate is similar to what Dez Bryant did, right? All the way to the deadline deal. Then they pull out the pen and they say, okay, let's go ahead and get this thing done. Like I said before, and I say again, Cowboys, especially those who are anti-Dak, you really don't want to see Dak Prescott play on that franchise tag. Why, Law? Because on one end, you know for sure $31 million is going straight off the books, meaning that you can't move that money, you can't prorate it. It's straight off the books. Matter of fact, $31 million, it will be probably one of the highest salary cap hits out of any player this year. $31 million straight off the dump. That's a lot of money. So number two, the reason why you don't want Dakota Prescott to play on that franchise tag, because everything that you like what Dak Prescott did for the first 4 years, or everything that you said that, hey, he was trash at, can you close your eyes and imagine? Now we got a better coach. There's no way that you can put Mike McCarthy and Jason Garrett in the same room and say, Jason Garrett, he's better. There's no way. I will have to pull your football card if you say, yeah, Mike McCarthy is not better than Jason Garrett. And I'm not trying to throw any shade or I'm not trying to sell you or denigrate Jason Garrett, but I'm just speaking facts. I just hope you guys can grab hold to that. Nevertheless, a lot of people feel that this team is the same team what we always seen before. No, that's not the case, nor the scenario. This team, what we really need is a situation where we pay Dak Prescott. We go ahead and give him the 4-year deal or the 5-year deal, whatever it may be. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Let me read some more of your comments. Joe, man, really appreciate you all. Thank those who watched me and Vash Lombardi on Friday. We got a chance to rap and talk about the team and talk about what our expectations of some of the players that we probably oversaw or didn't really dive into, and really appreciate Vash Lombardi. Go check out his page and check out his content, and thank all of the callers that called in. Here's what we got over here. It's from Chris Blunt. He says D-Hop is way better than Amari Cooper. Just look it up. Just look up what he did and then look up what Amari Cooper did. And people was talking about drops. And let me say this. Amari Cooper had 7 drops and DeAndre Hopkins had 6 drops. So one more drop, yeah, we can go back and forth with that. But the average yards per reception, Amari Cooper is leading in that. And touchdowns, Amari Cooper is leading in that. And if I'm a betting man, in yards, actually, with one less of a game, Amari Cooper is leading in that. So in most of the categories that count the most, because touchdowns trumps everything, right? You want your wide receiver to catch touchdowns. And with a bum foot, by the way, and taking days off, I guess, if people are going to say that on away games. Last I checked, I didn't hear of any noise or news of DeAndre Hopkins being injured. And for those who out there who really, really, really love the Texans, everybody, mama, uncle, cousin, Tupac, and Biggie will say that he had a better quarterback throwing him the ball, supposedly, right? So everything should be in favor of DeAndre Hopkins, and especially within the system that they're running, because I don't think it's a run-first system. But people will look at DeAndre Hopkins and say, well, he's light years better than Amari Cooper. And when I try to pull up those facts, I don't see that. Now, I could just be looking from the lenses of the Cowboys, but I'm just calling a spade a spade. And to be real with you guys, there's no way Odell Beckham is that far ahead of Amari Cooper. Matter of fact, one can argue and say that my dog Michael Gallup had a better season, a better year last year than Odell Beckham, missing some games at that. Let that sink in. All right, Terrence, man, Schwartz, man. Hey, I'm going to have to hit you up, man, on my Facebook, man. I really appreciate you, Terrence. I'm going to have to hit you up, check your DMs a little later after the show, and I'm going to ask you for a favor there. Shout out to those, man, that's here. TD Lamb will tear up the slot. This is from T-Mac 1906. Yes, indeed, he would tear this thing up. All right, so I got a caller on the line, 908. Hold tight. I'm going to put you into this thing, Matt. But I really appreciate everybody that tuned into this thing as we began to grind this off season. Look, I don't know whether or not we will have a season or we will not have a season, but I will say this. Man, at the end of the month, we would know for sure what's going to go down, right? Shout out to you, Say Prime Time. Let me bring in this caller right here, 908. You're live, 908. My bad. Got a little delay right there. Give me a few seconds. You're live now, 908. Talk to me.
Okay, now I'll be my name Adam Byron. I'll be under the comments. Big Pain. I'm an Eagles fan.
Shout out to you, man.
And yeah, and the thing is, my problem is that I feel like NFC East fan base, and our players get criticized way more than any other division, because at the end of the day, we beat up amongst ourselves. We don't like each other. That's true, but all you see on the TV is that, and then as soon as that come up, here come Wentz, and then all they do is nitpick. But they don't never talk about other teams that go through different things that go on. Like, for instance, like when they said whoever said Zeke was 11, how if he got 1,300 yards? Like, me as an Eagles fan, I might not think Zeke is top 3 anymore, but anybody can see that he top 4 or top 5. Same thing that go for people who think Matt Stafford and Matt Ryan was better than Dak last year. Like, if you look at it, they wasn't. You could debate Dak versus Wentz. They didn't really separate from each other. But when you talk about people that's not producing in comparison to people that are producing, I feel like it's just bias at the end of the day and people going off their names.
Yeah, I think that the East is in the media capital. I think that the owner of the Dallas Cowboys way back in the days, he looked at this landscape and said, you know what, let me get over there to New York. Everybody knows that's where everything is going at, right? The media capital, New York. And it just so happened that the America's team, the Dallas Cowboys, that silver and blue, we got hot. We was winning. We was marketing. We was on TV, even in those market areas. So, of course, they look at it when it's the dry spell. They look at it like, okay, let's start talking about immediately Dak Prescott versus Carson Wentz, or will the Cowboys be Super Bowl contenders? That's every year. The Cowboys will be Super Bowl contenders, and not looking at the fact that we had Jason Garrett. I tell a lot of Eagles fans this, Big Pain, right?
Yeah.
I tell a lot of Eagles fans this right here. It's okay to talk about the Dallas Cowboys, but can you be 100 transparent with me? Can you imagine if your owner was in love with Chip Kelly and you had Chip Kelly for 5, 10, collectively 13 years? Would you be just as pissed off as most of the Cowboys fans with that, knowing that you have the talent on your team, but you got a coach that really don't know how to assemble things together?
Yeah, and that's a fact right there. I would definitely be upset if I had Chip Kelly or Jason Garrett. Those guys are more of coordinators maybe than a head coach. And my thing is, with that whole situation that happened, I feel like Dak is getting dealt with how they dealt Kirk Cousins, how they did with the Redskins if he don't sign a deal. Because people don't recognize that Deshaun Jackson played for the Redskins. He was their best deep threat. Within that time of them having that situation with Kirk Cousins, they took away his receiver and franchised him. Then he had a good year again, and then they just were like, nah, we just don't want to pay you. So a lot of people might not say Dak might not deserve the money, but he deserved to get paid by somebody. It's on the ownership, because at the end of the day, are you setting your players up for success? And Jason Garrett, not a good coach. So at the end of the day, you're not setting your team up for success by having that. So this is what we'll do, right? We'll have Jason Garrett as your coach, and then give you weapons, and then say, oh, you went 8-8, so this is why you should get franchised, because you went 8-8. Okay, now we give you Mike McCarthy. All right, so now this year you have to prove it. So every year is like a prove it for him, for
right.
Dak Prescott. He's the only quarterback right now that has to prove himself every year. Me personally, I don't think he's better than Wentz, but that don't mean that he doesn't deserve to get paid. Because if you look at it, he has to prove himself every year. No other quarterback has to prove himself every year. He's been in the league for what is about to be his 5th year. Look at his numbers, and dudes like Tannehill getting paid $29 million, a year, and all this other stuff. So if they pay them, I'm confused on why they feel like he shouldn't get paid.
Well, that's just how it goes, man. And your quarterback didn't have to prove himself, right? That used to be the test for our quarterback. Can he win a playoff game? Can he put the entire team on his back and get them beyond the playoff game? And then they always measure our quarterback to the greats like the Troy Aikmans of the world and the Roger Staubachs and beyond. Now, Carson Wentz situation, he walked right in there and didn't get a chance to be measured against anyone. So my thing is Carson Wentz first 3 years or 4 years in the NFL, is it so superior than Dak Prescott? No. There's no evidence that show and support that Carson Wentz is light years ahead of Dak Prescott. And when we start talking about bargaining with money per se, one can argue and say that the value level of Dak Prescott compared to Carson Wentz, Dak Prescott is winning that situation because he was drafted in the 4th round, opposed to being, 2nd overall, drafted or what have you. And when you add in the fact that, so when you look at everything, you will have to lean on the fact that saying, okay, for the first 4 years, man, we stole the money from Dak Prescott. He didn't get paid no pennies. But Carson Wentz already got his coins, got his bag, even with his rookie's contract. Dak Prescott have yet to make that type of money. I digress. But a good call from you, Big Pain. What else you got, man?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the thing right there. I think Wentz is better, whatever. No, that's just my opinion. However, when you look at it from this angle of him deserving money, you look at his numbers, they all support him getting paid. This is the thing is why I think we got the best GM in the league or number 2, because we paid Wentz before Dak and Goff was paid. And I think that's real. If we didn't pay Wentz, let's say Wentz goes out there and he goes out there and wins, and now Wentz is asking for 37 or whatever he might want, that's Jerry's fault for not paying Dak right after Wentz got paid or right after Goff. It should have never got to this point.
True. Man, good call, man. Thank you for calling in, man. I'll talk more about it off when you get off. But, man, I really appreciate you, fam.
Okay, thanks.
Salute. That's Big Pain calling in. Eagles country. Look, my thing is everyone has an opinion. And my thing is with this, when we bring in who's better and who's not better, is always subjective in a sense. Because one can argue, if you just look at it from the stat situation and you look at what they did for their particular team, one can argue and say, well, Jim Kelly is better than Troy Aikman. Somebody can legitimately say Jim Kelly is better than Troy Aikman. But when we look at everything and contextualize it from what Troy Aikman was able to do when he got into the playoff and when he made it to the Super Bowl, there's so different in comparison of the conversation of who's better. Now, you can look at the system Jim Kelly played in and the coach that they had for his particular system and say, yeah, Jim Kelly threw the rock and have, double the amount of touchdowns as it relates to throwing the ball to Troy Aikman. And set up with the same situation. Dynamic wide receiver, dynamic running back. Good defense. But couldn't win it when it counted the most. So we will see at the end of the careers who will be on top. 918, you're next, man. Really appreciate you for tuning in. Shout out to Philly Notion for making the donation to help grow the nation. We got Philly back to back, right? But let me pick up the 918, man.
No. It's not Philly. This Tulsa, Oklahoma, right?
Yeah. I was talking about the donation earlier, though.
Okay. Yeah. And why you letting Philly talk that long? You let Philly talk a long time, man.
We just gonna get their respects for their opinions, though. You know how it goes. But talk to me.
Oh man! As soon as he said, I don't think Dak is better than Wentz, you should have cut him off. But man, I just want to talk to you about all of the man. I've seen the rankings of Zeke and all of that stuff, but it's like, do they watch the Cowboys? Do they watch Zeke run into those piles on first down, and then they'll say Jason Garrett is not a good coach, but then that don't factor into the bad part of the non-creative, because was the first 3 games, I mean, I watched attentively, and the first 3 games it looked like a different offense. Maybe it was the opponents, but it looked like a different offense to me. But then got back to being vanilla, got right back to first down and straight handoffs. Tony Pollard only played 3 snaps and stuff like, it's just tough for me watching these ESPNs and these FS1s and people talking about how bad Jason Garrett was, but then they talk about Zeke regressing. It's like I seen the same Zeke. Now, maybe not the home run Zeke, but it's no creativity. He running into, and then I hear Jeff Kavanaugh, and people talk about like there is no more stacked boxes, but I'm like, Jeff, I know you watch the Cowboys. It definitely are stacked boxes. Yeah. So
here's the thing, though. Here's the thing with that. When we lost to the Patriots and we lost to the Saints, they don't go into details of how the Cowboys lost after the loss is gone. They only say, well, Dak Prescott lost that game. But when we watched the game, we know that it was a monsoon down there in Patriots land. We saw the block punt. We saw the 2 phantom tripping calls that never been called in the history of NFL, right?
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. So,
oh, my goodness. That was the worst.
Mm-hmm. So we see all of that.
Okay,
no, you're good. And then we go back to the Saints game, and we see the phantom fumble that was called. But everywhere else, they would have reviewed that tape and they would have said, you know what, fumble, Dallas keep the ball. Oh, we saw the 2, not 1, but 2. First time ever called in the history of the NFL almost. PI called on Amari Cooper, pass interference. But all you hear is that Marshawn Lattimore shut him down. I digress.
Man.
I digress.
And what is this Dak? What do Dak gotta prove? What is that? I don't understand that. What do we gotta prove? Do people not remember Chad Hutchinson? Do they not remember? Do they not remember Vinny Testaverde? Do they? I mean, I've been watching. I'm just 30 years old too, and I've been watching the Cowboys since I was 5 years old. Wow. I remember that trash that we pulled in at quarterback and Ryan and Nagy at line. And I mean, it's just like when you get one, pay them. People talking about how much money is going to be. It ain't my money. So, and pay the money. So that's all I'm with. I'm with Dak. I'm with Zeke. The man 24 years old. And he washed now. Oh, no. I'm taking Zeke every day of the week. Taking Dak every day of the week. And CD, don't trade none of my guys. I like Jamal Adams. Don't trade none of my guys. And let's go. I'm ready to go, Law. I'm getting off of here, though. Thanks for listening.
Appreciate you so much, man. Thank you for calling in, Fal. Good call. Yes, indeed, for the 918, man. That was a good call, man. The phone lines are still open. Y'all can call in, and get on in. The phone number is 515-604-9318. The pin to get in is 709-148. All right, so what I'm saying when we talk about the Dallas Cowboys is not trying to say, okay, we uplifting the Dallas Cowboys and we diminishing the loss. No, we're not doing that. But I'm just calling out a spade a spade. I'm just calling out a spade a spade. And let me see what we have over here, man. I love the chat box. I love the community box over here. I'm playing Madden and watching you, Law. This is from Dro. What's good? Glad to see ya. I really appreciate you so much for tuning in. Dak is 6-2 or 5-3 against the Eagles. This is from Ghost Killer. Yeah. Look, Dak Prescott owned the NFC East. Now, here's the craziest thing of it all, and I have to bring this up to everybody's attention. the Dallas Cowboys, when we lose, is heard all around the world. But when we win, it's like, oh, okay, they did it against the Miami Dolphins. Or when we win, oh, they did it against the Washington team. Or when we win, oh, it was against the measly Giants. Oh, when we sweep the entire division, oh, it's because the division is trash. But on the same breath, when the Patriots was doing it with their particular division, oh, it's just good old Tom Brady. It's the brilliancy of Bill Belichick. They never bring up the weak division talk in that particular conference or in that particular division or in that particular talk track. But somehow, one way or another, when the Dallas Cowboys do something, it's all against an unfavorable team. Even when we lose against the Jets, I went back and watched the game. Oh, man, they got all type of flavor for them. Did you guys realize that Cedric Wilson did the same thing that any other wide receiver would do? They removed that whole touchdown from Jason Witten because they said, oh, it's offensive pass interference. I wanted people to know and go back and look at all of the offensive pass interference that was called in the NFL. It just seemed like the Dallas Cowboys was a test for everything, for it to be like one of those situations where this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to call offensive pass interference. This is the good prime example, the Dallas Cowboys. I digress, though. Dak has the second most attempts for 20-plus yards. Yeah, but they call him Dink and Dunk Dak. Where did that phrase come from? Oh, Colin Cowherd, you know. Why is that being echoed throughout the media and in the national media and beyond? Because he got 8 million followers. Look, I always tell people validation is only good for parking, right? But for those who are validated, man, they get their stuff pushed out because they got one of those blue check marks, right? They got one of those syndicate radio stations, and they got all of those followers. So they would take their words as truth. They would take their words as not gospel. They would take Collinsworth or Colin Cowherd, Stephen A. Smith, and Shay Sharp as the living word. But they fail to go back and watch the tape for themselves. They would take a narrative and they'll run with it. They would say, yes, this guy is this guy is that. It's crazy. It's crazy, crazy, crazy. And, you know, it just goes with, I guess, heavy as the crown, basically. Really appreciate everybody for tuning in. Shout out to Stay at Home, Nova, as well as Eastside Harold. Really appreciate you. Even though you are a Texans fan, I want to know who Watson's going to throw to this year. The craziest thing of it all, and I should have got a chance to post this up. We got another caller to come in, but I should have got a chance to post this up and go into details of what the lady was saying. I think her name was Mia Kim or something like that. I'm messing up her name. Charge it to my head, not my heart. But she was saying, and I'll get to the caller that's sitting there waiting, but she was saying that there's only 2 transcending quarterbacks in the NFL. She says she want to remove the elite word and only talk about quarterbacks within the confines of their system. 602, you'll be next, and 910, hold it down. Let me say this right quick. She said Pat Mahomes and Russell Wilson are transcending quarterbacks. And everybody else is just average, basically, or everybody else is just good. But I'm sitting there like, when you say transcending, I can give you Pat Mahomes. I can give you Pat Mahomes as transcending. His elevations of play is pretty good. You know, the guy can sit Indian style and throw the ball 60 yards. No look passes as relates to football instead of basketball. He can do all of those things and pinpoint a ball running out of the sidelines. And we saw that a little bit with Aaron, get down Rodgers, right? But when I start to look at Russell Wilson, and if you go put him 2016 to present day, man, you're looking at mirror images of Dak Prescott and Russell Wilson. Transcending is supposed to be able to look at something and say this person is so far from the crowd or this person is not in the same room. But she said that Pat Mahomes and Russell Wilson are transcending talent as it relates to quarterback. I don't see that. I look at Pat Mahomes as a nice guy, as a guy that can throw the ball. He can do all of those things. But a Russell Wilson, if he was on the Cowboys, I guarantee you my bottom dollar, the same things that people are talking about with Dak Prescott, they'll be uttering the same words. Oh, wow, why you say that? Because at the same time, you got to understand, we still had Jason Garrett. Pete Carroll and Jason Garrett should not even be mentioned in the same system or the same sentence. Man, I tell people all the time, man, just watch the tape. 602, you're live on The Nation. What you got?
Hello?
You're live. What's good?
Hi. I'm good. A question. What's the difference between Jason Garrett and Mike McCarthy coaching of strategies? Like, you know, like when we played Green Bay Packers, like, you know, Jason Garrett, like kind of like he goes down, makes plays where we're chewing down the clock, but Mike McCarthy, he goes down the field when, like, after the Green Bay Packers get the ball, like there are certain, like, is Mike McCarthy going to help our team get down the field to score a touchdown, like how he did against the Cowboys?
Well, when we look at Mike McCarthy in the Green Bay style of play, and we look at Jason Garrett and his style of play, first and foremost, both you can say, okay, from an offensive philosophy, in crunch times and down to the minute, yes, Mike McCarthy had the liberty and the wonderful time frames to have an Aaron Rodgers, right? Who can ad-lib, one of the best throwers of the balls, right? Nevertheless, we can say with the same breath, Jason Garrett had for many of years Tony Romo, one of the, if you were to look up accuracy and the ball placement, if you look up everything from A to Z, you would see that Tony Romo was ranked top 5 in his tenure with the Dallas Cowboys. But we still had issues with game management. We still had issues with when crises are right in front of our faces. We seen where the Cowboys didn't make the necessary adjustments, whereas we saw the Green Bay Packers do more with less. So my thing is, I think that with Mike McCarthy, a lot of times people think it's just about him, but I look at it like, no, it's more so to do with his surrounding party, bringing in people that he can listen to, bringing in people as it relates to like we said with the Coach Edwards. They brought him in. He was the defensive coordinator for the Minnesota Vikings. Everything that people love about the Minnesota Vikings since 2014 to present day, he is now on our team. So I look at Mike McCarthy as a collective unit opposed to Jason Garrett as the individual. We seen what Jason Garrett as a coaching staff, he didn't bring in nobody that could challenge for that position or can bring up, man, look at this guy. What we had, Scott Linehan, Rob Marinelli, none of those guys are proven. None of those guys had stretches where they did something great as it relates to coaching. That's what I think that Mike McCarthy is bringing in. Just it's more to do with the committee that he bringing in together.
Thank you.
Appreciate you from the 602. Thank you for calling in.
Welcome. Bye.
910. You in.
Hello, Nation. This Dallas Dog. What's going on?
Nothing to it, Dallas Dog. Talk to me, man. What's on your mental? What's on your mind?
Man, first of all, we need some energy in the building. Where everybody at today, man? I know it's Sunday. And,
Sunday.
You know, it's one of them days. It's a family day. I understand. I got it. But I know they're not still talking about my quarterback, Dak Prescott, and that old, I'm talking about Jason Garrett, man. If he didn't spoil a cobbler for Thanksgiving every time, I'm telling you, it was nothing we could do about him. It wasn't like he didn't care, but he just wasn't capable of putting the big ones together. Now, we talking about Dak. Come on, guys. Like, when they start talking about Dak, every time I turn on their TV, my biggest fear is that when we get some type of momentum, that you will see white and black run out there with their little socks in their back pocket, throwing them all over the field. And man, you can't even make this up. How many times they experimented with Dallas, just tripping, phantom. I'm talking about.
Right.
You can go back to replay on all these calls. So I'm like, what? Why is it always us? You see what I'm saying? But as far as our quarterback, let me tell you something about our quarterback.
Talk to me.
Every time they said, this dude can't pass for 200 yards, he went and got the bag. He come back with 250. Right. Oh, he can't average 220. He's averaging almost 300. He can't throw for 4 touchdowns. Got that 460 yards, one interception. They harp on the interception. Oh, he can't get, win a play. He goes toe-to-toe with Aaron Rodgers early in his career. I mean, where have you seen this? Listen, I don't think people get it. You're comparing a 4th-round talent to everybody who was drafted in the 1st round, and they still can't put the picture together like, this dude is a special talent. Now, he's not, elite, but I will say, when he first came out to hold it down and to be that bus driver like he was, he did great. He did great. Now, that's what you call a game manager. 2016. 2017, you know what happened.
Right.
Oh, my God. Don't even get me started on the main man, Ezekiel Elliott. The path of the righteous, my brother.
Right.
Now, come on now. Roger Goodell. Now, if the whole world, I know Roger is, he's New York. He's up there. He's on them pretty streets. You know what I'm saying? These boys down here, Jerry Wayne Jones got the boys out in the country swatting flies. Trying not to tell lies, but it's a different ball game, and I see that battle between Roger and Jerry. We don't talk about that much, but I do think those refs need to be held a lot more accountable in some of these games than what it's being to kind of balance this playing field, because I don't think it's in our favor. But when you start talking about quarterbacks, I mean, every year this dude, he does something different. He almost had 5,000 yards this year. I'm talking about he's second on the list. I mean, Jameis Winston, he threw 5,000 yards, but look he 30 for 30 when you talk about touchdowns. You don't see no stats like that, not even in basketball. No. You see what I'm saying? He got a whole separate stats for the times he threw to other teams. Yeah. You see, so I mean, if you want to compare them to whoever, you want to talk about early in their careers, their first 3 or 4 years, Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers. You want to talk about Tom Brady. Who do you want to talk? Who they keep trying to find people outside of
Pat Mahomes, Dak Prescott first 3 years. It trumps whatever. What's the guy Russell Wilson did? It trumps. It's like light years ahead of Tom Brady, and it's light years ahead of Drew Bledsoe and the guy Big Ben Roethlisberger. If we just do the first 4 years, 4 years of their career, and people fail to realize that.
Yeah, and Big Ben was one of the only other rookies to go 13-3 as a rookie. Of course, his path was a little different. And he always had a defense that was hard as nails. His offensive line always been tight. But then they act like Dak's not supposed to have any of this stuff and accomplish something good. They start going down the line. Dallas got this number 1 player. They got this player. They got crazy talent. Well, tell me something. Tell me what some of these other Super Bowl contenders and winners had on their team. They had that talent. I mean, you want to talk about? You want to go from recent to old. You want to talk about the Steel Curtain. You want to talk about our Dallas Cowboys in the 90s. They had these people on their teams now, of course, they had a head coach.
Yeah.
It just, I call it ineptitism that Jason Garrett had, man. It was unbelievable because you can play Madden and make those simple decisions. Do I need to call a timeout now? Yes. Do I save my timeout?
No, let me ice my own kicker, right?
Yeah. Let's ice him, and he done made it the first time. Or let's just take the ball out of Dak's hand, and let's see if Zeke can stuff it for another half a yard on the Vikings. You know, so when they talk about, Dak Prescott and what he's able to do, they always, like you said, they want to give another team credit when their quarterback do it. But when it's Dak's turn, it's like, oh, well, he had Ezekiel Elliott. Ezekiel Elliott ain't threw not one ball, bro.
Right,
he ain't threw not one ball. Yeah, we got an offensive line. You know, but that was inherited by Dak, and of course they started building that for Tony Romo. It never was a dream to see Dak in there, but he's always held his own, and that kind of speaks for itself. It's not a question of do he deserve to get paid.
Right.
Of course, I really want to know why is everybody acting like this is the only dude in the league that should prove something else every year. How about Carson Wentz prove that he can make it through a playoff? And I'm talking about 2 snaps. Just do that.
Yep.
But they crown him so quick, and they steady taking from Dak. But man, I'm just saying, every time I look at his stats, and it's not a whole lot more comparing I can do to too many more people. He was on par with Russell Wilson for his first 4 years. Now, even when they start talking about the Deshaun Watson, now Deshaun, he had a better completion percentage, but he also had DeAndre Hopkins. All right, now
his
let's
entire
talk about
career. His entire career. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's entire. We had Allen Hurns running routes at one time, man, and Terrence Williams running around with Bryce Butler, trying to catch balls off their body, bouncing balls like they on a tennis court or something. And then we got. They don't like to talk about this, but Dak had 4,900 yards plus 30 touchdowns. How many did they take from Randall Cobb, and what was they for? That's a $1 million question right there. Every time Randall Cobb had about 6 touchdowns.
Let me raise you on one. Randall Cobb was also considered washed up. Remember? He's like, he's washed up. He can't do this. He can't do that. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, Lord, don't get me started on that, brother.
Right.
Let me tell you something, man. When they start talking about he doesn't make anybody better, where did Michael Gallup come from? Who was his quarterback before Dak? Nobody. It was Dak. But we seen this man. They want to talk about Calvin Ridley, DK Metcalf. Yeah, they did great. But what did Michael Gallup do?
Wow.
I do think he was a 1,000-yard receiver. Guess what? Guess who else come to us and got better? Like you said, Randall Cobb. He didn't average them type of numbers before he got to us. But guess who was his quarterback when his stats went up? Dak can't elevate nobody. He can't bring them back. Wait a minute. Without Zeke, what season we went 10-6 when Travis? That was with Joe Looney. But we was also missing.
Facts.
Was it Tyron Smith for 3 games? Let's see. We was missing another good guy out there. He slipped my mind, but it wasn't just. Wait a minute. It wasn't just Tyron Smith that we missed. We had a slew, but they don't like to bring that up when Dak missing people. They always talk about when he got. Well, guess what? He had Amari Cooper and all these players. They don't say that part of Dak's struggle, if you want to talk about it, was his receivers bouncing the ball off the ground.
Right, they don't bring that up, and on top of that, just for some objectivity, we look at what's this guy named Cole Beasley. Cole Beasley.
What he did at Buffalo.
Now he did a good job of what have you against us in Buffalo, but I will say that Cole Beasley with Dak Prescott had his best season ever. He wasn't putting up those type of numbers with Tony Romo. So we got to look at the full, complete picture. But Dak Prescott don't elevate anybody though.
Right. Well, okay. And then we say, wow, Dak was shining when he was connecting with some of these receivers or tight ends like, dare I say, Blake Jarwin, that the coach just seemed to okay, that guy got 3 touchdowns in a game. Let's stash him. We might need him for the playoffs. Well, guess what, Jason? You got to get to the play. Man, I thought this whole time that they was just saving up these little trick plays, stacking them up, waiting till the end of the mid-season or towards the latter part of the season to get them going. Nope. It's like putting a match to a firework and it don't go nothing, just go pow. That's it. You looking for the boom and the lights and all this, and here comes Jason with these little firecrackers, man. And that was my 4th of July with Jason Garrett, man. And I seen the buddy system that they had, brother. I seen where Witten was supposed to be the security blanket, but he really holding down production, man. It's unbelievable what Blake Jarwin could have done, just in that season right there if Witten wasn't in the way. Yeah, I got it, man. He's been that. He's probably going to be in the Hall of Fame, and, he's been that guy for a long time.
Long time indeed, man. We got somebody else on the line, though, 910. What else you got for the show, man?
Hey, man, I just love the information y'all putting out, man.
Appreciate it.
I about quit watching all that four-letter network stuff, brother. You know,
Yeah.
Voch, Okoye, Silver and Blue Nation. You know, all y'all guys, man, just keep doing y'all thing, because I'm running out of stuff to watch, to be honest with
Man,
you,
we
brother.
here
I'm on
for
it
you,
every
though,
day.
fam.
I'm checking.
Uh-huh.
Hey, I got the information for anybody got it if you need it, because I'm always checking it, brother. I'm Dallas Dog, man.
Dallas Dog. Well, hit me up, man, on all platforms, fam. Salute.
Oh, yes, sir. Take it easy. Have a blessed day.
Peace. That's a good call from the 910. All right, so we got another caller in, but I want to go over some of the things that he talked about. So many times that, and then 512, you'll be next. So many things that we can go back and forward with as it relates to Dak Prescott, but not trying to put him on a pedestal, because he had his warts. He had his problems. He had his issues. He had to overcome multiple offensive coordinators, right? He had to overcome a lot of things. The up and down, the situation with Ezekiel, the main man, Elliott. And on top of that, when we talk about Roger Get Down Goodell, we know that he got something against Jerry. Jerry tried to get the man gone. He tried to take the $45 million. Roger Goodell makes $45 million a year. And Jerry tried to take that from him. Now, I don't know you guys personally, but I will say this. I know if I try to take $5, maybe $10 from you guys, man, y'all be like, man, hold on. That Law Nation guy, I can't stand him. I'm going to try to get him banned from all of these channels because he took $10 from me or $100 from me. You know, so I can see where Roger Goodell is coming from. That's why we sitting there waiting for Randy Gregory to come back. It's crazy to me. It's kind of funny that all of the stuff that goes on with other players, but Randy Gregory, man, his feet is always held to the fire. It's crazy how all of that stuff works. But we have 512. You're live.
Yeah. Warm it up, though.
Let me. I'm gonna save your name in this thing right here so I can talk to me, man.
You already know, you gotta save it, bro. It's Philly notion, you know. You already know, man. It's your favorite people troll. I gotta stop and show you some love, man. I got a question. You know, I just been kind of, chilling in your chat box, talking to some of the people in there. And I asked a pretty simple question. You know, one of the things I asked was, who was the last team to do something great in the NFC? Nobody seems to be able to answer that question for me, Law. So I told him I might have to give a call to find out, because how I'm feeling, of course, Law, is like we run the whole NFC. It's beyond the NFC East. We run the whole NFC. So I just wanted to touch base.
Well, hold on. You gonna come up in here and you gonna use the operative word, we. You must be talking about the Dallas Cowboys, you know. But I do know that you guys got a chance to win the Super Bowl in 2017. And if you want a cookie for last year, you want that cookie? You want that cookie?
Hey,
huh?
We
you want the cookie? You can have the cookie.
You can the whole cookie box, Law.
You can have the whole box of cookies. I can go to Krispy Kremes and give you some donuts too, because the way you guys won, I would say thank and praise be to God for the Philadelphia Eagles winning the division last year, because you finally got Coach Redball up out of here. Do you know that, right? And with the situation of you guys winning, you just gave us Sedarian, CD, TD Lamb, who's going to be ripping it apart in Philly land. And also when you guys come over here to Big D. So you know that, right? You know that, right?
I hear you, Law. Listen, let me explain one of the differences.
Explain it to me. Explain it to me.
Look, we have what's called a great organization top down. We have a great owner. We have a great GM. We have a great coach. And we have a great QB. I can't say the same about Dallas. That's one of the problems right now. That's where the confusion's at. Why y'all had 3 days left to figure out the decision on how to sign Dak. I don't know how it got to be this kind of a headline or a problem. I'm trying to understand that. I think it's an organization issue. That's why y'all ain't going nowhere. That's how I feel as an Eagle fan. I'm just saying, we laughing over here in Philly land, Law. You got to talk to me and clear this air for me. Let me know, Law.
Oh, my goodness. I'm going to give you guys all types of cookies, man. But I will say this, though. I will say this about the Philadelphia Eagles. I can't wait for this year to come around. And we need to have something to clear up so we can play. And I can't wait to see us against you guys when we now have a legitimate coach. It's a legitimate situation. We won't be no foolery. Didn't you know when you saw that game? Yes, you guys won that last game. The gold star for the Philadelphia Eagles. But we had 5 drops. Oh, and then on top of that, we had a drop on the defense. Xavier Woods wanted to play volleyball with the football. Your guy, Carson Wentz, delivered the ball straight to his hands. And he said hot potato, he didn't want it. Oh, Robert Quinn came off the edge and knocked the ball out of your guy, Carson Wentz, who's leading the league in fumbles, by the way. I think that he's kind of like gun shy a little bit when he get hit. But I digress. I guess. But it is what it is. Shout out to Philly, though. Huh?
I definitely, I meet you on that completely. We need the football competitiveness back.
We do.
Ain't nothing better than that. That rivalry in the division, man. Honestly, we respect y'all. We know what it is, but at the same time, y'all know we run the NFC, man. Let's get it.
All right, man. It's enough listening to you, man. Brother. It's enough. You the notion, you the ideal of Philly. So it's enough listening to you.
Brother.
Appreciate you for calling in, man. Thank you for your support.
And
I got to sing this song for you, man. Cry, Eagles, cry to the land of no victory. Man, I'm telling you, that song coming out platinum, triple platinum, baby. Salute. Good call from Philly, man. He always call in and he support his team. But I know for sure he thought that they was going to do a situation with Carson going into the playoff last year. And they said, hey, we're going to beat the Seattle Sea Chickens, what have you. And they got walked. It's crazy. They lost by the same amount of points we lost to them too, and the craziest thing of it all is that when my dog, Dak Prescott, when he played against those Sea Chickens, he ran it in. He didn't fold up like a wallet or a lawn chair. He ran over, what's that guy named? Bobby Wagner? Got his knee all snapped up. But he still was able to dive into the end zone and shake it off and stand on top of it. Oh, boy. You see, so when Dallas played Seattle Seahawks in the playoff, we didn't fold, baby. We folded them. But shout out to the Philadelphia Eagles, though, man. May they continue to lose forever and ever and ever. Griffin, really appreciate you for tuning in. Akeem, really appreciate you for tuning in. So, somebody else call in. How we going to have 2 callers from the Philly land to call in? Big Pain and Notion, the Philly Notion call in and all of this stuff, man. How y'all going to let the Philly out-call the Cowboys channel, basically? Look, I got all of the silver and blue all over my body, and they the ones calling in. Shout out to Nick. Really appreciate you for tuning in. And who else over here? Terrence, man. Yeah. The Deshaun Jackson situation is what it is with Deshaun Jackson. I think that his last days of football is pretty much you can just nip it in the bud. I think that the owner of the Philadelphia Eagles, he's going to try to spread this thing out, and the way they came at him, I don't think that he will be welcome from the owner's perspective. Maybe the players would say, yeah, we love what he said, but or we kind of agree with his apology statement and what have you, or whatever it may be. But I just don't think that guy is going to stay on that team. Eric, what's good with you? Thank you so much over here on the YouTube page. Money Making Mall, what's good with you? Thank you so much for tuning in. Shout out to Skywalker, what's good with you, man? We got a lot of people in. Chris, what's good, man? Thank you for tuning in. So, with that being said, what is needed for the Dallas Cowboys? What is in the corner for the Cowboys to go ahead and prepare themselves? Now, let me jump over here. I know you guys can probably barely see it. On my Instagram. Let me see if it's still open over here. Yeah, it's still open over here. Give me a few seconds here. Bam. We was talking about on the gram about this guy Jadeveon Clowney. To me personally, My bad, Philadelphia Eagles fans. He was the guy that put Carson Wentz out of the playoff. It was literally him, was it? They said he did a little cheap shot to his head or what have you. And I'm not laughing or making a fun of anybody's injury. But I'm just saying, I'm just recalling what history of what Jadeveon Clowney did to the Eagles quarterback. Nevertheless, they said that insiders, John Clayton, is reporting that Clowney was signed with a contender for a one-year deal as low as $9 to $10 million. Cowboy Nation, I want to know, do you guys feel the playoff? Will this guy be a situation for the Dallas Cowboys at $9 to $10 million? Is that something that you guys would really think about? Is that something that you guys really think about? Would that be something that you guys would say to yourself, we like what we got so far. We like Crawford. We like the ideal. Like dude Philly Notion said, laws to go. We do like the notion of what Aldon Smith can do, right? We like what he can do with the ideal of Aldon Smith mixed in with Dontari Poe, and as well as a rotation if Woods come back, as well as the McCoys, the rookie as well, Gillimore, Hill. Oh, okay. D-Law, we do like that. But would you be really satisfied to pay a $9 to $10 million, pretty much lease agreement for this guy, Jadeveon Clowney? Solid book, The Right Defensive Edge, opposite of Lawrence. This is from Terrence Schwartz. Yeah, on the Facebook group. He said it'd be solid. Trade for Adam. This is from my dog Akeem. Really appreciate you so much for holding it down. KMT, what's good, man? Defense has some holes, but we need to get a deal done with Dak. Otherwise, they will lose money or a franchise tag quarterback next year. Regardless of how we look at it, regardless of how I look at it, they got to get this situation done with Dak Prescott. That is the number one deal. And I would think that Dak Prescott deal would get done in a few more days. Yeah, I think that deal would get done one way or another. All right, so we got a call in from 561. Let me see what we got here. You're live on the Nation.
Hello, Nation. What's happening, man? Jake the Great.
The Great, man. What's good with you, fam?
Not much here. Chilling here in Fort Worth, Texas, man. Trying to go home, man. Take a little break.
Man, you right down the street from me, man. So what's your thoughts, man, for today on this good Sunday?
Man, well, trying to drop this price. Would I take them for that cup of coffee? Hell yeah, I would. Hell yeah. You can never have enough pass rush because I like Aldon Smith, but to be honest, the man hasn't played in 4 years.
Right.
He might got a little something left in the tank, and he might not. But hell yeah, I'll take Clowney for that little bit of money. And one thing that I was gonna say, what I mean, I noticed that a lot of people really don't watch football, and you know what I'm saying, like they might say like, hey, this team, like for example, they might be like, hey man, the Ravens kicked this team's butt. But it's like, yo, did you watch the game and see what happened? Oh, no, the score was 35-28. They whooped them. But if you watch the game, you'll realize it's probably just one or two plays that changed the game. You know what I mean? And the more football you watch, you know what I'm saying, the more football knowledge you'll have. When people talk junk about Amari Cooper, just look at his numbers. And the man had these numbers with plantar fasciitis. I'm not sure if I said the word right.
Yeah, you hit it right on the head, man. Plantar fasciitis, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, me, I'm like John Madden. I'm like old school with it. I like to gamble. I'm not telling you guys to gamble, but I like to gamble on the spread. So on Sundays when I'm watching, I got like 6 games going on. I got the Cowboys on the big screen, but I got the floor splitter, and I'm watching the game. So I'm seeing everything. Just people need to really watch the game and stop just watching ESPN. If you're a fan of the game, watch the game and you'll learn. You know, I seen somebody call, do you think Jason Garrett is different from Mike McCarthy? Listen,
I didn't even know how to even contextualize it. But yeah, it's a situation whereas we like Jason Garrett as a person, and this is not to look at him as a coach. But we've seen too many times whereas we're going to learn from it. Like, dog, it's like year 8. We're going to learn from it. It's, dog, it was year 7. We're going to learn from it. Like, dude, like, how long does it take for you to learn something? Look, I got a daughter. She know how to potty train. I taught her how to potty train, right? So it'd be a different story if it's year 7. It's year 8, and we going through the same situation on learning how to potty train. You know, I'm like, good Lord, what am I doing wrong? I got to reevaluate the situation, right? And what happened is that Jerry, he was an enabler for Jason Garrett. He kept on saying, okay, well, we're going to get this coach in here, or we're going to get this to go in there. But dog it, you should have known by year 3, year 4, year 5 what you have out of a Jason Garrett, you know. I digress.
That was his son. He couldn't turn his back on his son, man, because you know what I mean. I didn't hate Garrett as a person.
Right.
I liked him, you know, number 17, backup with Troy Aikman. But you know, how you doing, guys? And we didn't execute. We just didn't execute. I'm like, God dang, how many times are they gonna say that? We just didn't execute. You didn't execute in practice before you came to the game.
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't get it. But you know, I don't want to hold up the phone line. But yeah, I say Clowney and y'all, Cowboy Nation. Watch the games. Don't watch the stats. Oh yeah, one last thing. Stop comparing real football to fantasy football and FanDuel. That's why you guys don't know nothing right now. You know, stop. If you're gonna play football and bet on it, go and bet the spread. Test it now. See what that defense is gonna do against that offense. Stop this fantasy stuff. Leave Dak alone. Leave Amari Cooper alone. And Zeke is not. There's nothing wrong with Zeke if you keep running them. Right up the middle every play, no toss sweeps, no fullback leads, no nothing, just right up the middle. What do you expect them to do? But yeah, that's all I got for today, man.
Man, really appreciate you, fam, so much, man. Thank you.
All right, man. Later.
Salute. That's a good call from Jake, 561, down there in Fort Worth, man. Right in my backyard, right? This next caller, he absolutely. When I say this, he absolutely love his Texas team, right? But I think that he loved to be on the show too, and he speak his mind. Eastside, what's good, man?
Hey, man, you know who it is.
Talk to me, Eastside.
Hey, man, I just wanted to touch on Clowney, man. I got a special connection with Clowney. I feel some type of way. I would really hate deep down in my heart if he had that star on. I would feel awful because that guy is a really, really good defensive difference maker. And I'd just be sick to my stomach because I like him on the field and off. And people they shit on him, but they just don't. They don't know. It's like when you get something, you don't know what you got till you get it, man. And that dude, you just pull up his highlights on YouTube. That dude is a difference maker. He might not have them stats. I compare him to like you might not believe me. I compare him to like a Julius Peppers, man. He's like that freak out there, and you can focus on him, but he gonna do something. He can change the game for you.
Difference maker.
I mean, he was looking to reset the market, and you can't reset the market with just 3 sets. I can't condone that type of money that he was looking for, but you get him for $10 million. You're getting a deal, man. And I some kind of way I kind of wish that he'll come back to the Texans, but I know it's not going to happen. But $10 million out there. But how can you pay $10 million to this guy? You don't want to pay your quarterback. But hey, different story out there. Hey,
That's
3 days,
us.
nothing's
That's
gonna
us.
happen.
3 days, we'll figure out. In 3 days, I think on the 4th day, we signed Jadeveon, right? Because they're going to extend Dak Prescott and then, sign Dak Prescott to this big contract, and it's going to hit all type of news. And then they're going to reach out to Jadeveon. Now, I prefer the Griffin kid, but I heard that he was looking for Robert Quinn's type of money, and that's a lot of money, But if Jadeveon Clowney ever want to spread out his brand, he need to come over here to Big D. Now, for the Texans, y'all got a star on the side of your helmet. It is tiny, right? But when he get that big, nice Dallas Cowboys star, you see that little small star on the side of your helmet with the logo of the Texans. You know how y'all got that little small, tiny little star. You know how it goes. I know why y'all put that star, because y'all wanted to be like us, though.
Man, hey man, I just learned an interesting stat, man.
What's that? Talk to me.
Not too long ago, I put it up in the chat room. Didn't Michael Gallup lead the league in drops?
I think he had 12 or 11 or 12 drops or what have you. Yeah.
Yeah. That's not a good stat for a receiver. But,
whoa! Don't you know who's second in that on our team? He playing for your team
Who's
now.
That?
Cobb. See?
Hey, man, he's going to come to a different culture. Watson is going to change his life.
Shouldn't throw stones in a glass
He's
house,
going to change
baby.
his life.
We will see, man. We will flat out see, man. Eastside Harold.
Hey, man, I just want to put another little thing out there. It don't have nothing to do with football. I just want to tell you, keep your eye open, man. These NBA is about to start up.
Right.
And James Harden has lost 20 pounds. The boy is ready. When these boys about to make a little run, and I just got a feeling if any year happens, this will be the year for the Rockets to grab it. The boy's ready, man. He lost 20 pounds, and Westbrook is out there, man. Hey, bro. Hey, man.
Yeah, I saw him working on a few things. You think it could be the MVP this year if he come back?
Man, I ain't worried about
ready
that.
For it? You trying to go for the gusto?
I forgot who was in the. I forgot who was in the running for the MVP. It might be Giannis or whoever.
No, it depends. It resets. It resets
but,
because it's dependent on what you do now.
Yeah,
you know how that thing goes.
Gone.
Yeah.
Gone and forgotten, man. But hey, man, you know where the real teams at in Texas. A lot of these people not even from Texas, but hey, they can keep the fantasy.
No doubt, man. Really appreciate you for calling in, fam.
All right, brother.
All right, bro. Salute. Oh, East Side, man, calling in. And he loved the Houston area, and he loved those Texans, and he loved those Houston Rockets, basically. So, Cowboy Nation, let me see who else we have here, man. Jordan, really appreciate you for tuning in. Nick, thank you so much for being part of the nation. T-Mac, Law, let me give you a stay. Texans almost 20 years with no ring. I didn't know that. They've been here this long now. It's been 20 years. Oh, wow. But, I can't laugh at that, man. We still searching for the other ring, though. We got to get 6 of them. We've been sitting on that number for too long, man. 5 rings for too long. Too long. Lakers will beat the brakes off the Rockets. This is from Blake. Yeah, I just can't wait to see how the Lakers are going to come back. You guys know I'm a diehard Lakers fan, right? My whole world was crushed, though, when they pick up LeBron James, because I really, really wasn't a fan of LeBron. But, he's on the Lakers now for 2 years now, so it is what it is. And I seen somebody say, hey, Law, you just picked teams that was winning, man. You ain't real, dog. I'm from Mississippi. Who I supposed to go with, right? And I was following the Lakers in the 80s. So I really didn't jump on the Jordan situation. Jordan was cold and all, but I couldn't stand the Bulls. I couldn't stand those Bulls. But shout out to Jordan and Pippen and all of those boys. All right, so my dog calling in. 9 dime for your mind. You're live.
9 down.
Yes, indeed. What's good?
Good Sunday, my brother.
Yes, indeed.
Good Sunday, my brother.
Talk to me.
Hey, nation, let me talk to the nation. Do not believe any ranking ESPN gives to y'all. Odell Beckham better than Tyreek Hill? Seriously?
Right.
I mean, we already know him. We already know Amari better than Odell. But he better than Tyreek Hill with a Baker Mayfield? Man, get out of here, man. Get out of here. This is the same network that just said Russell Westbrook, the 23rd best player in the NBA. Like, yeah, don't go up in arms with ESPN and rankings, fellas. They want us to get mad. And to that anonymous coach who said my running back is number 11th running back in the NFL, kick rocks, man. Kick rocks. How? You see how it is? You see how they try to tear the nation apart? What they say before Dak get paid? Well, it's only because he got Zeke. Because he got the best back in the league. Well, if he ain't had Zeke, he won't be doing these things. Now, to give Dak a little bit of money, now you're on downgrade Zeke. So when Dak play good next year, they'll be like, well, we don't need Zeke.
Yeah.
But we know those two is a combo like Montana and Roger Craig.
Right.
Those two is a combo like John Elway, Terrell Davis. Those two is the formula for the Dallas Cowboys' success. Always been a great quarterback and a great running back and a great wide receiver. It started with Don Meredith, Dwayne Thomas.
Dwayne.
You want me to go back?
Yeah, Thomas. Yeah.
Dwayne Thomas. And my grandfather's favorite player, Bob Hayes. Then we transitioned to Roger Staubach, Tony Dorsett, and then Drew Pearson. But don't forget about the greatness of a Tony Hill. Don't forget about the greatness. Then we transitioned. We transitioned to Emmett, Michael, and Troy. And now we have Amari, Dak, Zeke. And with that said, fellas, I was talking about Jamal Adams. I still feel we don't need him. But Jadeveon Clowney for 9 to 10 mil, that's a Charles Haley deal, fellas. Because everybody getting on Clowney about his stats. Clowney be a 10th late. He probably be a 10th of a second late. But he always get the pressure. Now, just imagine, and they say the same thing about D-Law.
Right.
D-Law wouldn't get there. He was almost getting there. He was almost getting there. I'm big on defensive line, fellas. I feel you can have an awesome secondary. I lied to New England Patriots last year.
Right.
But if you don't get pressure, if you do not get pressure on these quarterbacks, it doesn't matter how good your secondary is. If that quarterback ain't laying on his back multiple times out the game, it doesn't matter. I will take Clowney right now. I'm telling y'all, fellas. Jim Tomsula is like Bill Callahan for the offensive line. He gonna have them boys right. He and Mr. Edwards, he's gonna have our linebackers right. Check their chat record. And then the greatness of a Skip Pete. You said it yesterday. Matt Forte.
Yeah.
Matt Forte was looking awesome for the Bears. Awesome. Matt Forte got paid because of Skip Pete.
Man, talk on it.
And it's on. So Zeke gonna take a lot of those wheel routes, a lot of those check downs. I feel Dak gonna check down more than Zeke this year, just off the strength of we don't want you to get sacked as much, but just put the ball in Zeke's hands and let him go.
Yeah, put the ball in the belly of the beast. And Mike McCarthy never had these type of weapons. Yeah, collectively speaking.
Mike McCarthy ain't had a running back like this since Deuce McAllister. And if you know the early 2000s in the New Orleans Saints, their defense was trash. But that offense was amazing. He had Aaron Brooks, Deuce McAllister, Joe Horn, and who's the Dante Stallworth?
Oh wow.
Yeah. Yes.
You put some stuff
Come to
out
Nine
there.
Dime, I got the history, fellas. If you want a lesson about this game and basketball, come to me. Come to me. But do not pay no attention to the 4-letter network and their rankings, man. All it is trying to get you up in arms, man. They don't believe that. Zeke, the number 11th, come on, son. And even for them to have Julio above Michael Thompson. I love me some Julio.
We do.
I
We
love me
him.
some
Yeah.
Julio. I love Julio. I mean, if Matt Ryan was the quarterback he's supposed to be, Julio would have way more touchdowns. But we're just going off last year. Michael Thomas was a beast, man.
He made
And
me eat
Odell
all
Beckham.
my words. Yeah. Remember, I was talking like, man, Michael Thomas, we share the same last name, but he ain't this and he ain't that. But he continued to put up numbers even with Teddy Bridgewater. I was like, okay.
Teddy
He's a fish water.
Bridgewater, Taysom Hill.
Right.
Taysom Hill.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you cannot deny a great talent. But I would take a Dak and Coop over Breeze and Michael Thomas. I don't trust Drew Brees after December.
Yeah.
I don't trust Drew Brees outside.
But you know what? You know the craziest thing of it all? You know the craziest thing of it all?
Yes, sir.
People will go back and forth about Dak Prescott as relates to losing in the playoff, right? And we would talk about the brilliancy of Sean Payton. But Drew Brees, that last time they was in the playoff, and I think it was against the other team that got the pass interference, but it shouldn't have the pass interference, but they didn't call the pass interference, what have you.
Rams.
Yeah, the Rams game.
Rams.
He shouldn't have thrown that ball anyway. He
That's
had no
fact.
dealings of throwing that ball anyway.
Last year against the Vikings.
Oh, my God.
Last year against the Vikings.
Yeah.
And doesn't New Orleans supposed to be a superior home field advantage?
Oh, my goodness.
And you just lost back-to-back home games in the playoffs?
They couldn't have been Dallas, though.
I don't trust no Drew Brees, man.
But he
Drew
get a pass.
Brees, Sean Payton get defenses. They be killing Tampa Bay defense. They kill.
Speak on it. Speak on it. Yeah.
They kill Atlanta Falcons defense. They kill the Panthers defense when the Panthers defense ain't ready. That's who Drew Brees and them kill. But you see what the Vikings did? Shut them down.
Yeah.
You see what the Rams did? Shut them down. Drew Brees need everything. He can't play in no rain. He can't play in no snow. He can't play in the wind. He can't play up north.
They would never bring this up. What you
mean,
talking?
How many games have Drew Brees won above the Mason-Dixon line? I would love to have that stat.
Wow. Man, Nine Dime,
Every
they gonna
time
come.
I saw him play the Eagles,
They gonna come for you, man.
Every time I
He's
saw-
spitting all the facts.
let them come for me. Cause
Yeah.
I got
love
empirical data to back it up.
Yeah.
We're not talking about the second game of the season. They playing the Giants and he put up 50. Of course. Sean played, like I said on my last call, a lot of these coaches kill you with that scheme. Andy Reid kill you with that scheme, and he got speed with it.
Yeah.
And you get down on Dak because he had it when he got a vanilla Jason Garrett scheme. Everybody know I plays. You sprinkle a little Kellen Moore up in there.
Wait, hold on before you go into more details. Let me say this, and I have to say this because everybody giving praises to Andy Reid, which he's a good system or what have you. But there's this other guy named Eric Bieniemy. Sat down with your boy, Pat Mahomes, and helped him read the defense.
1 year.
Helped him with calling the plays as it relates to Andy Reid. These are the check down. These are the plays you should go with. And helped him with putting the running back situation together. Now, so many people fail to realize That's what coaches do, baby. They elevate, because it was one of the
Yes.
knocks on.
That's
Now,
what
I'm not trying to sully or denigrate Pat Mahomes, because I think he's a wonderful guy. But we have to
love
look at everything within the confines of everything. Yeah.
We love Patrick Mahomes. But we know Andy Reid.
Yeah.
And he has an offensive prodigy like Bieniemy. But like I tell people, let Dak sit on the bench for 15 games.
Mm-hmm.
Let Dak sat on the bench that rookie year for 15 games behind Romo and see how more advanced. Dak learned on the fly. Dak took his bumps and bruises. He did great the first year, but the second year, you knew he was growing.
Yeah.
You were like, hold up, this game is outdated.
Yeah.
Like if Lucky Whitehead go in motion, we go into a reverse. It's
Right.
so outdated. But and last year, from the 20 to the 20 was all Kellen Moore. You get to the 20-yard line, the clapper, the red-haired man, he want to sprinkle in his little fades. He want to sprinkle in his little draws. He want to sprinkle in his counter plays or his Y, Z, whatever Jason Garrett's famous route is, just to prove a point. Oh, yeah, I can get it in the zone. But we end up with 3.
I forgot who we had. We had somebody live, man, and I'm gonna say this. We had somebody live, and I forgot the person's name, but I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna put it back out there. You remember after we played the Miami Dolphins? You remember that, right? After we played the Miami Dolphins, everything changed.
100 and 100.
Because
200-yard runners, right?
Because that was when Jerry reached back out to Dak Prescott and said, "What about this deal that you're supposed to sign?" And his agent said, "No." After that game, the price went up. And I'm not trying to put and shed light on this situation, but go back and watch. Now, I do know people going to say, well, it's because they finally played a team. No, it's because Dak Prescott refused to sign that original deal. And that, I want people to go back, and I got to find that interview who we was talking to, but they shed a lot of light on that non-dime. And if you look back at it, we didn't play Tony Pollard at all. He didn't have a single snap against the Saints game.
I believe I was Kavanaugh.
Was it Kavanaugh we were
Kavanaugh.
speaking to? I'm going to pull it up, but it could have been Kavanaugh.
Helmet. Or either Helmet.
It was Hellman, I believe.
Like that situation right there summed up the Jason Garrett era in one game.
Yeah.
You have 200-yard rushers. We're going on the road in a hostile environment with a great defensive front seven. I give New Orleans Saints. They got some meat up there on that front seven.
Big meat,
But now, to prove your point, that your playbook worked, your 4 plays, 5 plays is going to get us by. No.
Yeah.
And like you said, Mike McCarthy never had this firepower with the running back situation.
Yeah.
He is charming at the bit because his Super Bowl run was that Ryan Graham Green and Starks.
Yeah.
Starks led that way.
Yeah.
And Aaron Rodgers just had to pick them apart when they play man defense.
Yeah.
No safety help.
Nah. Sayonara.
But y'all have to put this stuff in perspective. Like, okay, a player might have better stats than another player. It doesn't mean they're a better player.
Mm-hmm.
And just because I would say I love Christian McCaffrey. Love him to death. But if Z played for the Carolina Panthers, because I'm from North Carolina, Carolina values their running backs.
Yeah.
Carolina will put their running backs, hey, yo, here, the team is yours, Jonathan Stewart. The team is yours, DeAngelo Williams.
There you go.
The team is yours, Stephen Davis. The team is yours, Deshaun Foster. The team is yours, Tim Biaka-Patuka.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. When you get, it's all about that organization. And with our organization, if we trying to spread the wealth. Coop's stats don't go down next year just because we want to open up Jarwin. We want to open up Pollard in the pass game. We got a CD Lamb.
Mm-hmm.
Gallup is going to get better.
You ain't lying.
But it's not going. But that's what's going to help our quarterback with his progression. Y'all acting like that been in the league 8 years, man. 9 years.
Yeah, they do. They do put him on that situation. But 9 dime, man. I got to roll, man. Anything else you have for the show before I let you go?
Man, we love the nation. Y'all stay safe out there. Y'all stay blessed. And remember,
go ahead.
You're rocking with Law Nation.
Yes, indeed. That's my
Peace,
dog.
King.
Peace to you, man. 9 dime for your mind. All right. So with all that being said, Cowboy Nation, I got a split. But I will say this, man. I thank all of the callers who called in. Thank those who wanted to call but couldn't call. You know how they go. But we would look at it from this thing. This is a whole new era. This is a whole new vibe, a whole new flavor. I don't want people to think about this as let me just end this thing right here. Bam. Let me end it right quick. Give me a few seconds, y'all. Bam. Make sure I can close this one. There we go. This is a whole new era. Let me see. Give me a whole new vibe, a whole new flavor. There we go. I don't want people to think about this as, y'all hear multiple times. There we go. Now we got it right. All right, Cowboy Nation. Let's just look at it like this. It's a whole new flavor, a whole new era. Dallas Cowboys, we finally got things going in the right direction. Really appreciate those who subscribe to this channel. Thank those who called in, and thank those who made the donation to help grow the nation. Shout out to all of the mods, man. I couldn't have this channel without you all regulating, putting people in check, and approving messages and these sorts of things. Shout out to Lance Bell, Terrence Swartz, as well as Jesse. Really appreciate you, and my dog Big Game James. Everything else remained the same. Go follow his page. And I saw Skywalker still with a new feel in the show earlier. Don't forget to subscribe to their respective channels. Shout out to my dog Big Dog Vaj Lombardi for the other day, and Koye Media, Foots the King, everybody, man, Mark Holmes, everybody, man, that put it down and holding it down. Let's continue to grind, Cowboy Nation, and this thing, we continue to take this thing as one day at a time, one movement at a time. Everything else will be okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Y'all know I got to see some fires. Yeah. Gotta see some fires before I roll up out of here, man, brother. I really appreciate you. Stelios, shout out to you with the $2 holla.
This is Sparta!
I just want to be able to get you guys in a battle mindset, in a battle shape form of mind of thinking. I want everybody to understand this right here. As we continue to grind, right? not just talking about the Cowboys, but the players that's out there, because I went through the whole entire episode by not talking about this dog that wears number 88. He sees the picture, he sees the light, and he's working it out. Every time you turn on the gram, you see the man working out, running routes. He had an episode with, I think, Ocho Cinco, right? And I'm thinking, I said, this guy is really ready to fight. And when you think about fighting, when you're up against your struggles, meet it squarely face to face. Write this down. Lift your chin, set your shoulders, plant your feet, and take a brace. When it's vain to try to dodge it, do the best that you can do. You may fall, you may conquer. See this thing through. And even hope may seem but futile. Then with trouble may be beset. Remember, Cowboy Nation, you're facing what other legends have met. Keep your head high, eyes through the finish. Let's continue to see this thing through, Cowboy Nation. That's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. And remember, you're listening to nothing, and I mean nothing but the best. Let's go.